Brent Porce here, TopVelocity.net. Going to do a pitch announce here. Nathan going to pair him up with Cody Hall. Let's take them both into their leg lifts. Cody Hall's got a bigger leg lift, up and back. Nathan's just kind of lifting up and down. You know, a more passive or less active leg lift is going to be better to learn to control your stride, momentum, and your hip rotation. So, you know, I like starting here when you're really trying to develop your lower half mechanics. Cody uses a big one, but knows how to work with it, and knows where it can hurt him. Where it can hurt him if it lifts up and it swings out really hard and the back leg just gets pulled off because of it. He knows as this leg lift comes out as aggressive as it went back, he's got to really load the back leg and get power going before front foot opens. And you'll see he does that well. So let's take them into their loads. So Cody's he's going to have more momentum coming out of leg lift. He loads a lot more into that forward and down position. So he's going to have a lot more hip flexion, and he's sitting back to where you can even see that shin is not pushing too far forward. But he's got knee flexion, dorsiflexion. You're not seeing that here with Nathan, specifically in the hip flexion. It looks like he's sitting more quad dominant, but not really loading. You know, there's not a lot of momentum coming out of this, not really getting a lot of flexion. So, you can see there's not going to be a lot of power. And then here, as he opens, there's maybe a little push, but there's not really much of a drive. It's just a push to let the hips move with the opening of the front foot. So he separates. So, I mean, his timing is good coming off the rubber of the back leg to create some hip rotation with the opening in the front side, but you're not going to see the power that Cody's generating. So Cody got in a more loaded position, is able to get that back leg to drive before front foot opens. As you can see, front foot's still closed here, and he's already going into drive. And then as he opens, the back leg starts to rotate with it, and he gets a lot of power through that back hip. So you see the difference in both of them landing here. You can see just Cody is in a longer stride length. He's in a lower center of mass. So definitely more power down the mound, moving linear towards the target. Because of that, you're going to have more hip to shoulder separation. You know, it's hard to see they both have black pants, but it looks like this is when Nathan's hips are open and Cody's hips open, you know, right here. So, well, maybe similar at that point, but you're not going to see the forward trunk tilt. You're definitely seeing a more vertical trunk. So because he timed the movements well, Nathan still was able to get some separation. Just the issue is going to be really the linear power. You're going to see a lot more power coming out of Cody here, with the trunk going a little, a lot more forward, I'd say. If I'm trying to get right to the hip pocket, okay, and then that's parallel to the ground, you get somewhere about 53. If I do the same thing with Nathan, go somewhere right to that hip pocket, to the chin, and then I go level, so about a good 10-degree difference here, more forward tilt. That just means a lot more power. Front leg in a similar position, arms loading the same way. All this looks the same, just you're seeing a lot more power from Cody as he finishes. Nathan gets some leg drive there, but still doesn't get the forward tilt. So Nathan's good at rotating, good at timing rotation. So his kinetic sequence of the hips to shoulders to arm is actually very, very good. And you can see it. Hips rotate here, some separation. Arm loads well. Trunk rotates as the arm loads, and then the arm turns over. And it sequences very efficiently. So I really like Nathan's timing and his rotation. It's just I'm not getting the linear power. The legs aren't really powering. They're just falling and rotating. And then because of that, we don't get a lot of trunk going forward. Cody, you can see, really attacks the mound. A lot of energy moving down the mound. And then also good kinetic sequencing. And then because all the energy down the mound, when that trunk goes, you see a lot more forward tilts, which is a huge correlation of ball velocity in arm health when you start to throw hard. This pitch of Cody's here was 96. So you can see, he's a big guy too. That's why he's throwing so hard. Big guy moving that far down the mound with that much energy through his trunk, he's going to throw hard. So Nathan just needs to start to learn the lower half, learn how to build the linear power, learn to delay rotation and maximize momentum and leg power. And that's what we do really well with all the med throws, the sled drives, the torsion drills. All those really help teach those movements, which someone like Nathan's in a good position because he just starts to build linear power, and it's going to convert really well because his kinematic sequence is already efficient and effective to transfer that energy. So he really just needs to get into his legs, build a lot of leg power, and his ball speed will go up pretty fast.